Indie Game Roundup. Part 2. Suit for Hire is an action hero fantasy that we've all been waiting for. Step into the shoes of definitely not John Wick and use your expert gun fu to dispatch everyone you see until you make it to the end of the level. It's really that simple. While there's not much to the game, it also doesn't get old with its highly polished gameplay and fun level design. Shooting only gets you so far. Your primary weapon will be with you at all times, but ammo is limited and you'll be required to not only scavenge for new weapons dropped by enemies, but also not use weapons at all, opting for hand-to-hand combat when things get dicey. It's when you mix your ranged and melee options where Suit for Hire's combat really starts to stand out. It looks frantic and chaotic and it plays that way as well, but the controls are tight and responsive, which means managing your character is intuitive and easy. Shoot, kick, punch, dodge, and dive are your movement abilities. It's only a few buttons to remember, and the great sound design and hit feedback gives you a really satisfying impact to everything you do. It's hard to describe with words just how fun it is to go postal on these faceless goons. The enemy variety is good without being outstanding. Most variations of foe provide a threat to the player, but apart from the occasional bulletproof helmet, they can all be dispatched in the same way. What really stood out was the levels, not necessarily in their gameplay design, but in their artistic design. There's a lot of them, and it really does feel like most of these were ripped straight from the John Wick universe, and the fact that you and most of the enemies are all in formal business attire definitely helps that feeling. There was the occasional moment where orientation in a level became a problem, but apart from a couple of cases, each level was just as fun as the last. But with Suit for Hire, it's all about that combat, and it's incredibly fun. It's easy to pick up and hard, but not too hard to master. It's satisfying, fun, and easy to pick up and put down at a moment's notice, though putting it down may be the difficult part. These days, it takes a lot for a roguelike to really grab my attention. The genre has been beat to death by indie developers over the years, to the point where I involuntarily roll my eyes whenever I see it tagged on a Steam store page. So when I tell you that Ravenswatch is a character-based action roguelike that's genuinely fresh and fun, don't just dismiss me. What keeps Ravenswatch from being just another roguelike is twofold. Firstly, the levels. Unlike a typical roguelike, which leads you with a simple get-to-the-end objective, usually in the shortest time possible, Ravenswatch has a much more interesting open map design with tasks sprinkled throughout. The second system that makes Ravenswatch stand out among other roguelikes is the day-night cycle. You land on the map and you have 3 in-game days until the final boss shows up, after which you fight to the death. Those 3 days give you a fair amount of time to complete objectives around the map for levels and boons, but not enough time for every objective. This time management gives each level a bit of direction to an otherwise directionless layout. Since you can't do everything, you have to prioritize. Do you want more levels? Get some quests done. You need money? Hunt down gem clusters. Charting out a path to get things done as efficiently as possible adds a bit of spice to an otherwise overdone gameplay loop. Taking a big risk with a cursed boon may pay off big time with an easygoing run. Other times, you run all the way across the map for the hopes of something great, only to find something you don't need. You then have to reprioritize and figure out how to bring your character power up to speed. The time management is lax enough to where you never feel fully rushed, but it's also tight enough to where if you really want to squeeze as much as you can out of a run, you can seriously cut it close. The day-night cycle isn't just a ticking clock, however. Many characters receive bonuses or changes based on the time of day. My personal favorite character, Scarlet, is the nimble, sneaky backstabber during the day. Avoiding attacks is important and easy to do with her bombs to keep distance and invisibility to fool foes. But once the moon rises, she transforms into a savage werewolf, contrasting her nimble form with wide swings, thicker skin, and life leech properties. Pied Piper plays musical notes and manages a rat horde. Romeo and Juliet have strong abilities on their own, but gain more effects and bonuses if played together in multiplayer. There's a huge diversity in the character pool, and each one offers a playstyle that differs from the rest. It's a really good roguelike, so much so that it's easy to forget just how played this genre is. While it may lack in some serious meta progression or ongoing challenges, that doesn't take away from the solid foundation and fun mechanics to play around with. With up to 4-player co-op, it's an easy pick for those looking to slay out with some friends. Now I know I just said that roguelikes are played, but hear me out just one more time. StarVaders is a roguelike deck builder, and yes, my eyes did just roll after saying that. You control a robot on a grid of tiles, with the ultimate goal of stopping the alien invaders from reaching the bottom 3 rows. You do this by using abilities, which come in the form of cards, resulting in a random pull from your not-so-random deck. There are 3 mech types with a handful of pilots each. Each mech has a main mechanic, such as battery power or a heat gauge, and the pilots augment that mechanic, like getting bonuses for overheating or applying coolant, in the heat gauge example. It sounds like a lot to manage, but it actually plays quite simply. It's always very clear what you can and can't do, and what will happen if you play certain cards. The UI is stylish and sleek, and the gameplay, while being turn-based, is actually quite fast. The invaders take their turns simultaneously and quickly, which means that after a couple of seconds of ending your turn, you're ready to go again. There's a ton of different combos you can set up, and it's relatively easy to fine-tune your deck to where every single turn offers a lot of potential. Yes, occasionally you'll get a turn where you get nothing but movement abilities. How exciting. You can dance around the enemies, but you can't touch them. But that's often a rarity, and you rarely have so many cards at your disposal that you can't get what you want or need. At times, it can barely feel like a deck builder, and more just like a turn-based action game, which personally, I like. It's a turn-based game with rhythm. There's very little downtime between turns or combat encounters, and the various abilities you can add to your stockpile give a lot of options to play with the mechanics. The gunner mech takes on heat when you play cards, which can overheat and then start burning your cards, making them unusable again for that encounter. But there's also benefits to overheating, like having more heat for the next turn, or giving bonuses for going over your heat gauge. The Stinger mech is all about energy, using temporary energy each turn with a reserve battery in case you need it. Collecting an artifact that replenishes your battery takes your Stinger from carefully managing your power to going all out each turn. It's an incredibly addictive gameplay loop that saves at every turn, allowing you to pick up and play without ever feeling committed to a lengthy run. It doesn't have too much in terms of game modes. In fact, there's not even an endless mode, which has become customary for these deck builders. Regardless, that doesn't hold StarVaders back from being a killer title with a surprising amount of mechanical complexity, while ultimately being simple and easy to get into. It's fun, easy to pick up, and it's nice on the eyes and ears. What more could you want? And that about wraps up this round of indie titles. If you've found any indie gems recently, drop them down in the comments. Until next time.